she's getting her. And I was elected to take her to get her hair done, and it's kind of far from my house, so I wouldn't have time to make it back home in time to do the call. So I opted to hop in Panera Bread. So it's going to be a little loud. I'll mute myself in attempt to make it easy for you guys to hear. So let me turn my camera around. What's up, Mr. Pete? What's up, Thomas? What's going on, guys? I will tell you that I'm sitting in the back by the bathroom here in Panera Bread. So sometimes you will hear the hand dryer go off. But what I'm starting to notice, there's some nasty guys in here because most people ain't washing their hands. They just come out with no dryer going. What's up, Natalia? How are you? Just bear with me, guys. Again, I had to pivot because I had to take my daughter to get her hair done. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't trying to do this from my car. And I figured coming to Panera Bread would be the best option. My assistant, Kimberly, is on here today. Hey, Kimberly, good morning. She's going to be my assistant on the call, letting people into the call. And more importantly, people who aren't following the rules. The rules on this call is that your camera has to be on. I know Betty sent me a message, so her camera will come on in a second. Kimberly's going to give you guys until about 8:35. If you don't have your camera on, she is going to remove you. Kimberly, make sure you don't report them to Zoom, just remove them. And you guys have the option of going over to Instagram and watching it live on Instagram. If you want to be here on this call, you have to have your camera on. You have to be part of the conversation. All right, that is the rule. Here's the other new rule. No unmuting unless I unmute you. No feedback unless I ask for your feedback. If you guys can't play by those rules, I'm going to have Kimberly remove you as well. We had too many people unmuting last week. And so I'm asking that you guys follow those rules and make sure that you are not unmuting and speaking unless I ask you to actually speak. Is that fair? All right, good. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let me just ask, did anyone have any wins this past week based on what you covered? We covered last week based on what we've been covering on these calls. Any wins in your world? Anybody get a listing appointment? Anybody, get the commission they were looking for? Anybody get an appointment, get a listing signed? Anything you guys want to share? I'm curious. Anybody working over the last week? All right, Denise and then Jerome. Denise, what's up? Hold on a second, my volume. Hold on.
I unmuted.
There you go. Okay. What's up?
So, full transparency, I'm not cold calling yet. I'm still not there, but I am learning a lot in dialogue from being in here that I've had the good fortune of getting an opportunity to list and sell with a person, and it's just the dialogue, and it's the comfort with the dialogue and just the things that I'm saying. So I just wanted to say I appreciate that because that's what I've taken from this space.
Okay, and Denise, I just want to say something to you. When you say you're just not there yet, do you just mean like your confidence in knowing how to handle the call and handle the conversation?
Twofold. First and foremost, absolutely yes. And secondly, I work in a very specific area, and there are not a lot of FSBOs or expireds, and I really want to do circle prospecting, and that's the part I haven't even begun to work with the scripts, and I don't hear a lot of circle prospecting conversations in the dialogue that we do here, and as well as somewhere else I listen. So I just haven't put it together yet.
Okay, so maybe what I can do later after we cover pre-qualification, I can have someone show you their circle prospecting script. But one thing I do want to tell you right now, you don't have a lot of FSBOs and expireds, but eventually you will. So I would encourage you, pull up Zillow and call some FSBOs in another city or state. They don't have to be where you are. Just to get the practice, just call them and go through the script. And if you happen to find someone who's pretty serious, then just refer it out to an agent in that area and get the referral fee. But
sounds like a plan.
Keep you from calling. Like I used to do that all the time because I was afraid that I would mess up an opportunity where I live. So I used to practice in areas where I didn't work. And if I happened to get something, I would just refer it out. So give that a try.
I like it. I like it. Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Jerome and then Hazel. Go ahead, Jerome.
One, we should always have wins. I try not to because I try to give other people opportunities My win, I just want to share a specific win. I am making calls. I had an interesting call with a seller. She hung up on me three times. Three times. So I called her back to back to back to back, and I still got the appointment. That was a win for me. I always keep my calls recorded too. So I wanted to share that. And the other thing, I just want to reiterate what you said, David. I encourage people when they say, I don't have this in my market, I don't have that. I encourage you to call another market. Call another market so you can get the practice in and you can get the reps in. And maybe a step down from that is find role play partners like this call and find some people where you can actively make calls. You should be making calls or at least role playing daily, not like once a week. So I just wanted to share that. My win was that call though. That seller hung up on me three times. She was like, I'm not selling, not selling. And I just was consistent and I got the appointment. So
Perfect. Two things based off of what Jerome said. What I did when I first started role playing, I got really strategic about my role play partners. I've had the honor of living in Cleveland, Los Angeles, Austin, Houston, Dallas, and New Jersey. So I found role play partners in the areas where I used to live, where I knew people, and I role played with them. And that way, when the people I knew needed to buy or sell or they had real estate questions, I just sent them to my referral partners because I knew those people were doing their job and they knew their scripts and they knew how to show up. And so it was a great way for me to build my referral network. That's number one. Number two, what I want you guys to understand is that you're here to learn scripts. And guys, cameras on. You guys are here to learn scripts. Know that the for sale by owners and expires and everyone else you're calling, they're learning scripts too. And they learn that one of the quickest scripts to get you off the phone is to hang up on you. And so when you do what Jerome does and you call back and you continue to call back and you show them, hey, I'm different than most people. I'm gonna call you back. They will give you an opportunity because that throws them off that you even call back because most people don't. So take a lesson from what Jerome said and call back. Hazel, what's going on, lady? And then I'm going to Raj.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Well, I we're sharing wins, right? We just closed 30 million in sales, overall 100 million. So we're pretty excited about that. We're definitely working pretty hard and we've kept our head down all year and worked. That's all we did. And now I made an announcement yesterday, well, we as a team, that we need to start celebrating that because we're doing, it was really nice to write 30 million on the board.
Hell yeah. Can I celebrate with you guys?
Hell yeah, actually. We have a plan and you're in it.
So let me tell y'all this. Haza and her partner Mina are both graduates of my push program. So I'm so proud of them. 100 million, 30 million, like what we talk about here, the way we approach scripts and the way we approach, listing presentations, it works. It works. And Haza is a testament to that. Her team, the Patel group, is a testament to that. You put in the work and it pays off. And I look forward to celebrating with you guys.
7-time push graduate.
Better believe it. What's up, Raj?
No, just in the last 2 weeks, because of your script practice, I've had one expired appointment and 2 for sale by owner appointments. And actually, one of the for sale by I think I mentioned this to you. The for sale by owner had a mint garden, so I got a bunch of mint, brought that back on Wednesday, and then the expired had a tomato garden, gave me a bunch of tomatoes. So my wife's like, why are you going to the farmer's market for one vegetable? I'm like, it's for my clients. And the one from this, I do recommend, guys, that you do. I had the FSBO, another FSBO this Tuesday, and so I recommend sending a handwritten note. I know we like text messages and social media and all that. Take the time. My writing is chicken scratch. I was never a doctor. Parents probably wanted me to be. But it doesn't matter. They just want to know that you actually took the time to write something. And those make a big difference. So I have a new listing, a 5th transaction from a client. I've helped this client buy a home in 2017, sell and buy in 2019, now selling and buying in 5 transactions, 1 client. But
I love that, man.
That's a different story.
Let me ask you this really quickly, and then we'll get into some role play. Out of the FSBOs and the expires that you met with, were anyone giving you a hard time about the commission?
Of course, but it's like, that's the thing. Like, you have to do it enough so that when you're doing these calls, so that when you're in person, you have that automatically in your head. Now the one is he's the one I met on Tuesday. He's like, well, my tenant's moving out in June, so I can't do anything like that. I'm trying to lock it in as a different strategy, at least now. I'm like, okay, sure. 140 days on market on Zillow, or not, it's not market if it's Zillow. That's not the market. So I'm like 140 days on Zillow. Yeah, that's working out well. And I was, I drove him to a train station and we had a big conversation about that. I'm like, you've nothing to lose. Like, you're not paying me till it closes. So why not just try it?
That's right. Love it, man. Love it. Hey, I got to call somebody out on this call, but before I do, Megan and Matt, I just want you guys to know you need to have your camera on because my assistant Kimberly is removing everyone in a few minutes that don't have their cameras on. So please get those cameras on. And I also want to spotlight somebody. Tony, it's good to see you, man. Tony's my road dog. We were doing script practice in person back in the day. And we used to show up and there were like 3, 4, 5 people, like when we first started this thing on Fridays. Remember back in the day, we used to do Fridays live in Wyckoff. And Tony, full circle moment to have you back on here with me, man. It's good to see you, dude.
Hey, buddy. Did I miss anything?
No. No. So let me say this, guys. Hi, Megan. What's up, Pete? Good to see you guys. Here's what I want to say. Last week we had a conversation about, pre-qualifying. We went through the listing presentation, and the overarching theme on all the feedback was that pre-qualifying is super duper important, and we need to pre-qualify everybody. I don't care if it's your mom, your best friend, your neighbor. You think you know them, you still need to pre-qualify. And here's the reason why. You want them to pay you a professional fee. Show up and do your professional service. Don't shortcut anything. You want to fully pre-qualify. So today I'm going to go through pre-qualification. I'm not going to go through the full questionnaire. If you want that, that's what Push is for. You sign up for Push and you get that. However, I did come up with 5 of the top questions that I think we need to be covering. Not that I think, that I know we need to be covering, and we're going to go through that. But first, I'm going to challenge someone on this call to actually pre-qualify. I want to see what your pre-qualification looks like. So who is willing to, I want some people who normally don't, raise their hand to speak, because we tend to hear from the same people, and you guys are all on here to improve and get better. So I want you guys to get out your comfort zone. This is your at bat. This is real play. You got a seller who said, okay, come out and meet with me. I'm interested in talking to you. And you have to pre-qualify. If this is your situation right now, are you prepared? What would you say? Who's going to be that person that steps out of their comfort zone? All right, I'm going to give it to Matt, although I know Matt's pretty comfortable because Matt's a Push graduate. He better be comfortable. But Matt, I really want to hear how you would do this. And we're just going to throw just 2 minutes up on the clock. I'm not going to allow you to go through the entire thing, but I just want to do this to kind of set up a point and set up, what we're going to be covering with this role play today. So, and then after Matt, I am calling out somebody directly. I love that you mentioned that. I am doing that because I want people, you're here, you got your cameras on, you're here to be pushed, right? So Matt, you ready?
Yeah.
And I actually want you to pre-qualify. Let me choose. Denise, you ready? I want to get you active on this call. I'm going to have Matt actually call and pre-qualify you. You're a seller, and okay. I'm not going to give you the scenario. You just come up with it. Matt, let's go.
So do we already have the appointment? We're not going to go through all that?
You got the appointment already, and now you're pre-qualifying. Everything's set for you to go to the house. You're starting with the pre-qual.
Okay, wonderful. Hi, Denise. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Before I come over, I have a couple questions for you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Great. Do you are you interviewing anybody else during this process as you're looking to sell your home?
Should I?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. After I come over, you're not going to have to, but I mean, I would never discourage somebody from getting, other opinions if they're not satisfied with the first one that they get.
Okay, well, we're ready to get moving, and I guess if we feel good about this, then we'll move forward.
Okay, awesome. Do you have an idea of your time frame for how soon you would like to achieve your goal?
We'd really like to be at our next home in the next like couple months, 3-4 months.
Okay. Okay. So we have a good amount of time. We need to market. Wonderful. And is there anything that I need to know before coming over about the house or about your situation that would more or less inhibit your timeline?
Well, we know where we're going. We just haven't found a house, but we're working on that. And outside of that, I just need to know what's going to take to get my home sold.
Okay. When you say that where you're going, you're going to purchase there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need to sell the home up here in order to purchase wherever you're going?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate you sharing that because that's going to change how our strategy is going to work a little bit. Okay, that's going to shift our timeline. How soon do you need to be down where you're going?
I would like to be there in the next 3 to 4 months. So it's not that I have to be there, but I'd like to be there.
Okay. Okay. So what's got you going down there in the first place? What's got you
To be
moving?
closer to my daughter.
Okay, be closer to your daughter. Wonderful. Okay. Do you want me to respect the timer or do you want me to
I
keep
want you to
going?
respect the timer, and
Okay.
I just want to answer a couple questions. First of all, Tony, on Instagram, everybody's saying, Tony, they're happy to see your face, just so you know that. But I want to say this. You guys are hearing the background noise. I'm in Panera Bread. Unfortunately, the only place I could set up is by the bathroom, so it's the dryer that you're hearing. You're not going to hear it often because people are not washing their hands like they should, but it does come on every once in a while. So bear with me. I apologize about that. So, Matt, I love how you went through that. You went through it. You asked the questions that you should be asking. Are you interviewing other agents? I don't know. Should I? Right. And I love the fact that you didn't say no. You said, well, sure, you should. And let me ask you guys this. If you know that you're interviewing someone who's actually going to be interviewing other agents, how do you prepare for that? Here's one thing I recommend you do.
The same way.
So go ahead, say it.
I prepare the same way I would prepare for any other presentation.
I do too. However, I do say, hey, if you're going to be interviewing other agents, would it be helpful if I gave you a list of questions that you should be asking when you interview? And I come prepared with those list of questions. And guess what? Those questions make me stand out. I'm talking about things like the fact that I'm full-time, the fact that I have great sales. I'm showing my list price versus sales price ratio, my days on market. I'm talking about things like reverse prospecting. And I'm saying if that agent doesn't know what reverse prospecting is, you should run. Like you need to make sure you're hiring the right person. So the questions that I'm giving them are questions that I have the answer to. And I'm going to make sure that when they ask those other agents those questions and they can't answer it, that seller circles back to me. However, what I found out a lot of times is that if you do it the correct way, they're going to end up listing with you and they're not going to even interview those other agents. So we'll talk about that. Betty and then Jerome. And let's keep our feedback really short because I want to make sure we get through a lot on this call.
What I was going to say also, another question to ask you, who are the other agents that you're interviewing? So I can do a little background on the agent. So when I come to the presentation, I can have a conversation with them about that and I'll let them know. Understanding that you're going to meet with so-and-so after my presentation, I'm confident enough to know that I'm going to get the listing and I'll tell them, I'll reach out to those agents to let them know, don't bother.
So if you guys heard what Betty said, who are you interviewing? So Betty, role play with me really quickly. What if you asked me that question and I said, well, that's none of your business? How would you respond?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What if I said it's none of your business when you ask me who I'm interviewing?
Well, it is my business because I would just like to do some research on the agents that you're interviewing to find out what their stats are versus mine and to see if they even cover your area. So it would be beneficial to you to give me their information so I could do the homework for you to save you time.
I like that. How can we say that a little differently? Anybody? I want to hear a different way of saying what Betty just said.
I got that.
And think about like exactly what to say. Look, go ahead, Matt, and then Jerome and Tony, I'm coming for you. Go ahead.
I messed that up.
No, you didn't mess it up.
No, you're good, Betty. I would.
Don't say that.
Would you want?
He's in Upper Montclair, guys.
He's like Max Headroom over here. Matt, you're breaking up, man. So I'll have to come back to you. I'm sorry. You're breaking up.
Oh.
Try it again. Just try. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, try again. I think you're better now.
Okay. I would say, would you want somebody who's not familiar with the area to sell your home for you? And then they're going to say no. Okay, great. So I make sure that I know the agents that are working in the area. I would hate to see you in a position where you're leveraging an agent and they're saying they're a local expert. They're actually not.
Got it. Love it. Okay. That's another way. Jerome, what would you say, or what was your hand up for?
I would say I can understand why you might think that, but let me tell you why. It's in your best interest for me to know who you're interviewing. I would say it that way versus, yes, it is like coming off like that. My feedback was it was for Matt when he was doing it. I would just watch the like yes or no type of questions. I would be more assumptive in my questions. I'll drop a lot of them in there. Like, what is your time? Like, do you have a time frame? I would say, what's your time frame to get them talking? When you ask questions like that, it gets them talking more. You want to be talking more than them. Another example is like, is there anything else? I could just say yes, or I can just say no versus what else do I need to know? Then I have to start explaining what it is that I need to know. So I just watch those permission-based questions. I would rephrase them in a way.
That's a good thing. And you guys should know that if you're reading exactly what to say. Tony, what do you have?
I got a question is where was she moving to? They never, Matt never asked.
Well, so Tony, and the reason he didn't ask is this was like pre-qualifying, so he should have already had that information by going through a script. So we're assuming that he's already gone through a script and got that information, and now it's all just about the pre-qualifying phase.
Right. I would have dug deeper though, right? So once you find out where she's moving out, she's moving to California to be closer to her kid. So what is that going to do for you? Explain to me how your day is, right? Like what's the perfect day when you get out to California? And that way when you're talking to her and you're asking for her to hire you, well, doesn't it make sense for us to sign the paperwork so we can get you out there playing with your grandchildren, this month?
Yep.
As opposed to, what's your timeline?
And anyone who wants to script, you just send me a DM, and I'll not here, but either text me or send me a DM on Instagram. If you can't find my phone number, shame on you. Like it's easy. GTS. Tony, I will tell you this. What you're saying is absolutely correct, because logic makes people think, emotion makes them act. And if we take the time and we're not rushing to, get the sale, but we really take the time to understand their motivation, we know what buttons to push, because people are running towards pleasure, to your point, to like get to the grandkids, or they're running away from pain, like leaving Florida because of the hurricane. So it just depends on the motivation, and we need to ask all the questions and dig deep. So completely agree with you, man. Diego, what's up, sir?
Hey, David, I could definitely. And David, how would you feel if you listed with an agent that told you exactly what you wanted to hear, and gave you a bunch of data and numbers, and later on you'll find that when your listing doesn't sell, you found out that those numbers weren't even real?
Ooh, I mean, no, I wouldn't feel good about that. Why do you ask?
Yeah, because this is exactly why I ask who that other agent is because I will do my due diligence to get you that data. David, look, at the end of the day, people figure lies, but the figures never lie.
Yep. I love that saying, man. Men and women lie, but numbers don't. Like you have to be able to have those conversations, and sometimes they can be a little uncomfortable. And Diego, I learned from exactly what to say, like using a phrase like, would it be valuable if I could pull up the stats of those other agents that you're interviewing and bring those with me to my appointment, so that you can actually look, apples to apples, and compare who is the right agent to actually hire. I'm sure that wouldn't pose a problem for you if I was able to bring that data to you, would it? No one's going to say, no, don't bring me the information on the competition. They're going to want to see that information. You just need to make sure your numbers are better, or you need to choose numbers that help you show up as a stronger agent. Mr. Kopak.
What's up, Friday Role Play? How we doing this morning?
Man, we doing it, man. We doing it. We got all these people here. We got another 30 plus on Instagram listening in. So we doing it, man.
All right, cool. I just raised my hand to role play through the pre-qualifying script, if that's okay.
Yes, and then I'm going to, who did I have pick out? Michael T, you still here? Where's Michael? Yeah, Michael K, I'm sorry. Michael K, I'm coming to you next for the role play. So Pete, I want you to role play with Diego. Diego, you're going to be the seller. Pete's going to pre-qualify you, and we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and let's hear how this goes.
Okay, ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, Diego, what's going on, man? I'm excited for our appointment to, later today at 5 o'clock. That time still work for you today?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually canceled a few things just so we can meet.
All right, perfect. So before I come out, there's just a few questions I have to ask you. Would that be okay?
Yeah, just really quick. I'm a little busy at work.
Yeah, no worries. Well, listen, Diego, when I come out today, if what I say makes sense and you feel absolutely comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to get started with me when I come out today?
Uh, depends. Yeah, depends on how we feel. It is a family decision, both my wife and I.
Gotcha. Okay, totally get that. Your wife will be there today still, right, at 5?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And are you looking to interview more than one agent for the job?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Who are you meeting with?
Well, we have somebody else coming from Remax. I forget her name. She's in the Remax in Ridgewood. And then we have someone else from Keller as well.
Someone else from Keller. Okay, great. And so tell me again, where are you moving to?
We're actually moving to Texas.
Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. And what takes you there?
Pete, you didn't take notes?
No, I just want to make sure what I have written down is still on the same page, right? You're moving out there so that you can relocate, right? And you're looking to downsize and you're retiring.
Yeah, exactly. We're retiring, looking to downsize. I don't want to shovel snow anymore. So yeah, just looking to have a better quality of life.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there anything else that takes you to Texas?
No, just better quality of life, man. Less taxes, and we'll have a little more money to spend on ourselves.
Gotcha. Okay. So just better quality of life. Gotcha. And how soon did you want to be there?
Right. I'm gonna pause you here. A couple of things I want to say about Pete's role play. So did you guys hear what Pete said right in the beginning? I'm paraphrasing, but when I come out on Wednesday night and you feel comfortable with me, are you looking to list your home with me when I come out? We are closing even before we go there. However, the question is, why are we asking that question, and why is that question so important? It's going to bring up questions and objections. They're going to tell you, well, no, Pete, it depends on your commission. It depends on the price. Or no, Pete, I'm interviewing some other agent, so I'm not going to be making the decision that night. I don't know about you guys, but I want to know what question a seller has and what objections they have before I come out. Because if I know that, I can actually put that into my listing presentation, because we need to understand an objection is an unanswered question in the mind of a seller. So if they're telling us up front what all their questions and objections are going to be, then we can weave that into our presentation, make sure we cover it, and then it's no longer an objection. So that's the power of that one question. The other thing I want to say is Pete was asking Diego, so tell me again, why are you moving? And Diego pushed back and he was like, you didn't take notes? Listen, the reason why you do ask that question again is because sometimes when you first start talking to someone, they give you a reason for moving. But then once they actually decide to actually meet with you, then sometimes the truth comes out and they'll tell you, hey, we're actually going through a divorce. And so sometimes you need to ask it again to make sure that the answers that you're getting are matching up, because people don't always tell you the truth in the beginning because they don't really know you. And so I think Pete digging into that and asking that question is really smart. And you have to be prepared with an answer. Pete was prepared. Yeah, I took notes. Boom, boom, boom. I just wanted to make sure we're still on the same page. Besides Jerome, anybody have any feedback? Jerome, I'm only going to have a few people give feedback, so I'm going to skip you on this one. But I want to hear from some new people on feedback. Anybody else have feedback from that role play? You should.
I just thought it was a little maybe too short. 1 minute isn't enough to ask all the questions.
No, I know. So the 2 minutes is really just, I want to give people a couple opportunities to see the intro to go into it. I mean,
I
ideally,
understand.
an actual pre-qualification, if you're doing it correctly, will take about 10 to 15 minutes. And so what I like to say to the seller is, hey, before I come out and meet with you, there are a few questions that I need to go over that will help me be better prepared for our appointment and save us a lot of time when we get together. Would it be okay if I go over those questions with you right now? Most people say yes. If they say no, because they're busy or they have to get back to work, fantastic. I need to do this before I meet with you. So what's a good time and a good number to call you back? No matter what, you always want to pre-qualify before you go out there. I don't care if it's 2 hours before you go, you always want to pre-qualify, because you may find out through your pre-qualification that that's not the person you actually really want to meet with. Maybe once you go through your questions and you start talking about certain things, you realize they're not as motivated as you thought they were. And so taking that time, that 10 to 15 minutes, does a couple of things. It gives you all the information you're going to need to get that listing, right? And then it's going to save you a lot of time when you get to their house. And you're going to show up differently than most agents, because most agents, I know none of you guys will admit this, but most of you guys are on the phone. And if someone wants to meet with you, you stop doing your role play, you drop all your shit, and you just run and you go to their house. And that's not going to serve you well. You need to take time and slow down so that you can actually create a good opportunity for yourself. Matt and Raj.
You know, Pete, that was actually pretty real smooth. So I don't really know. I'm not gonna get nitpicky with feedback. Pete makes calls, gangster. But something he said triggered a question that I like to do in pre-qual is when you're talking about the focal point of the agent. I like to ask, okay, when working with their, like if they have experience working with an agent or they don't have experience working with an agent, what would be like the best thing? Like, what's the number one quality you'd be looking for an agent? Like, what's the number one thing that you want out of your real estate agent, right? And then they're going to tell you everything that they want, and then you could just show up that way. So I like doing that because then it opens the door for opportunity to show up to be more of the favorite than not get the business.
And Mac, if I can add to that, another two questions that I like to throw into my pre-qualification, especially if I'm talking to like the husband and the wife isn't around, or I'm talking to the wife and the husband isn't around, I like to say like, hey, Matt, when I come out there and meet with you guys, how do I win with you? How do I win with your wife? And then the follow-up question to that is, how do I lose with you? And when I started incorporating those questions into my pre-qualification, you know what happened? People started giving me some real solid information that would help me. I remember this one FISBO was like, don't bullshit my husband. Like, he can see right through it. Like, don't come out here and try to BS him. And so when I was at the appointment, I used what she told me and I said, listen, I know a lot of agents will come out here and they'll bullshit you and tell you you can sell your house for this number. And they're just doing that to buy your listing because they want to tell you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear. I'd rather turn you down and let you down. I'm not going to tell you a number that won't cause your home to sell. I know this number may not feel comfortable for you, but if we really need to get to North Carolina by June, you have to have your house priced correctly. And the market, not my opinion, not I think, the market is telling us this is where we need to be priced. So are you willing to list your house with me at that price so I can get you to North Carolina by June? When I tell you I got that listing, and it was because I was direct and I didn't BS him. And of course I knew the motivation and all the other things. It really made a difference because she told me how to approach her husband and he was the main decision maker. So how do I win with you? How do I lose with you? Raj, go ahead.
Just related to pre-qual, because I got stung on this, but in the wrong way, because the worst thing is you want them to say, we want to price it way up here. I got it wrong on the pre-qual because I didn't ask the question when I come to your home, what do you want to list for? And both times I gave them a higher price than what they actually expected.
Yeah.
Mess me up because then I go in and I'm saying 850 and they're like, we're thinking 799. And I'm like, there's never a problem in underpricing. But had I asked that question, I'm going to look like an idiot. And now I'm like, well, we could, then you got to backtrack and look like an idiot rather than if you would have just said, when I meet with you, how much are you looking to list your home for? And then you could say, well, I will research the comps. And then just one more thing, there is another question that I've learned that called, would you please describe your home for us? And if it's an expired, they can always say, well, you can see the listing,
that will give you an insight into their personality because that's what I was told. That like if they're like, well, over here we have parties in the back, you know, like or over here it's 11 by 12. Like you can get an idea of what their brain is. Like are they analytical? Are they data driven? And that can kind of give you an idea. Like if they're like what you could see the listing, you know, you can, you know, they're a high, maybe they're a high D. Maybe you want to kind of shorten your presentation. That's what I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what I was told.
No,
Can you just
it makes sense because if you ask them to describe their house and they're giving you all the details, what that tells me just on the granular level is I need to show up and I need to have a lot of information for them. And so I wanted to touch base on two things. One thing Denise on Instagram is saying, you know, when we were talking about who are you interviewing, she said a lot of times sellers won't give you the name, and she's absolutely right. So you need to be prepared to say, okay, that's fair. If you don't feel comfortable giving me the name, what company do they work for? At the very least, you want to be able to compare your company to their company. And if you can find what office they work for, then you can get even more detail in coming up with those numbers. So be prepared for someone to say, I'm not going to give you the name. Okay, that's fair. What company? That's the follow up to it. I also want to go back quickly before I go over to Diego and Pete and Matt. Um, Raj was saying, I asked the question when I come out, how much do you want to list your home for? I find that that question is so important. And here's a couple of reasons why. Number one, you get a feel pretty quickly if they know the market, if they know what homes are selling for. Have they gone to open houses? Are they looking at the stats? Like if you're talking to someone in the neighborhood is 500,000 and they say they want to sell their home for 700, guess what? Before I come out there, we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting because we're far apart already. And I need to have a conversation with you before I come out about pricing to make sure that you are being realistic and that if you can't get that number, that you still want to sell. I hear a lot of conversations from agents that I coach all the time, and they're saying, I'm having a hard time because I can't convince these people to sell their home. They want to sell it at this price, and they keep telling me if they can't get their number, they'll just stay put. Well, guess what? They're not motivated. You need to move on. That's not the people you need to be talking to. You need to talk to the people who, even if they can't get their price, they know they have to sell. And so they're working with you to make sure they can maximize what they sell it for. Those people who say, I can stay here till I die, that's not really the people that you want to spend your time following up on. So just know that. And then the follow-up question around price is, okay, you want to list your house at 500. What's the least amount you'll take? They'll tell you that. And so they'll say, yeah, I want 500, but I take 450. That's helpful for you when it's time to run your comps and have the pricing conversation. You just have to be asking the questions. Again, sorry for the dryer in the bathroom. This is, hey, we got to adapt, right? Diego, go ahead.
To ask if anybody has done this, I heard this on a podcast a little while ago, and it's somebody that used what is it, Cutco, the knives.
Cutco. Yep.
So he wrote a book called Giftology, and basically he got so many deals because he just went like on a rabbit hole researching on who the prospect was and social media and stuff. So I don't know if anybody here like looks up before an appointment the person on social media to see what kind of person they are and things like that.
I don't. I did it if I was like calling my database, but not before an appointment.
I used to do it, Dave, just to find out if I knew somebody they knew.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, I'm gonna give two more people, and then I'm going over to Michael so we can do some role play. And Tony, though, listen to what Tony said to see if we had a mutual connection. When you're calling expireds or for sell by owners and you can't get a hold of them or you can't break through, I would always get on Facebook and LinkedIn to see if we had a connection, because then I could call Hayes and say, Hayes, your neighbor, I'm looking to talk to them. Can you make an introduction for me and let them know what type of agent I am? That warm introduction will help you, and you can find those connections by plugging those people into Facebook and LinkedIn. Good point, Tony. Ashley, then Javier, then we back to role play.
So I was actually coming about pre-qualification questions, but you brought up a good point about someone that wants a unrealistic number. So let's say you are dealing with someone that wants an unrealistic number through the pre-qualification. You found that out, maybe 200,000 over, 100,000 over what the market is going for. However, you've tried to have a come to Jesus meeting with them, but it's not going through. What does that conversation look like for you prior to going out to the house? Because if it's way too high, especially if they're aggressive about their number, because for context, I had a gentleman reach out to me. He's been reaching out to me for the past year. I door knocked him. And we have a great rapport. However, he wants to list his house here. And I haven't given him a number per se, but I have just been telling him like, hey, you know, well, the market suggests, you know, we're going to have to go with what the market suggests. Is totally fine. And he's like, well, I need someone aggressive that's going to go for my number. And I've just been like, we haven't even had a conversation about that face to face. So I'm getting to a point where I really haven't been able to address it. So you said you have that conversation prior to going out. What does that conversation look like to you? I want 700,000 for my house, but it's worth 500.
So Ashley, I completely understand that you want 700. And listen, if you want to sell your home at 700, don't be offended by this, but I would tell you, pull out your checkbook. You're the only person who's going to pay that for your house. Let me ask you this. If you took off your seller hat and you put on your buyer hat, and I took you out to go see some properties, and we were looking in the neighborhood, and there were homes priced around 5, but then there was this one seller who wanted $700,000 for his home because that's just what he wanted. Are you going to pay him 700 if all the other comparable homes are at 5?
Of course not.
Why not, though? I mean, that's what he wants.
Because I don't need to buy his house. There's other homes on the market that's comparable that I can purchase those homes. Why would I go to the delusional seller?
Would you maybe go check out his house thinking, well, hey, if he's got it at 7, it must be something better. Let me at least go check it out and see?
Of course.
And then when you saw it was the same as the $500,000 homes, you would never make him an offer. You would just make an offer to the homes that were priced correctly, right?
Right. Yes. And even if he was the only home on the market, I would probably go in and not give him the 700. I would just come way under.
And so, Ashley, I completely agree with you. And that's what I don't want to have happen to your home. So what buyers are going to do if we overprice it at 7, they're just going to buy the homes that are at 5. They may come and see your home, but once they realize it's comparable to the ones that are at 5, they're just going to go to those sellers. So what you're actually going to be doing is helping the competition sell. You don't want that to happen, do you?
Of course not.
You want to get your home sold.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. If you can't get 700, are you willing to stay put, or are you in the position where you have to move no matter what?
Well, I'm willing to stay put. I'm willing to stay put. I don't have to sell right now, but I'm thinking around that. It doesn't have to be 700 on the nose, but you telling me around 500, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, well, Ashley, I have to say this, and I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want to waste my time. I'm very selective about the listings I take. And if I know that I cannot sell your house, I'd rather just turn you down right now. So at this point in time, Ashley, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to go ahead and cancel our appointment. And what I will do is stay in touch. You know, the market is changing. You know, we may get to a point where we can get your number. And at that point in time, I'll reach back out to you, and I will stay in touch in case something changes with your motivation. But I know that I can't get you your number. So at this point in time, let's just cancel. I'll stay in touch. And I appreciate your time.
Nice. So that's what I was going to ask you. I'm like, oh, I totally know all of that for the listing appointment, but would you say that over the phone? And clearly you would. That's dope.
Okay. I would. The only reason I would still go on that appointment if I was someone on this call and they were like, damn, I got somebody who wants to meet with me. I really want to go with your eyes wide open, go through your entire presentation, record it so you can go back and review the tape and see how well you did. But don't take that listing. Just go out there and turn them down in person. Do not take that listing that is overpriced where they're not motivated, because all you're doing is showing your counterparts that you don't know how to do your job, right? And your reputation is going to be that David is always taking overpriced homes. All his properties are always expiring. So walk away from that and learn from that. And there's nothing like the feeling of turning down a seller or firing a seller or firing a buyer. It's actually a good feeling when you know you're doing the right thing. Javier, what's up, man? I'm gonna let you get the last word, then we're gonna get back to role play. Thank you, Ashley. Good question.
That was a great point. What's going on, everybody? So I came here a little after the fact of you guys having this discussion, but I didn't hear it while I was here, but really focusing deeply on needs versus wants, right? I hear a lot of everyone going back and forth with the wants of a seller, but the need, a lot of times what I do, well, every time that I have a client will have a seller lead and they are not necessarily being realistic, I switched to focus on their needs of what they actually need to purchase that new home. And when you focus on that, a lot of times they end up, moving their number themselves because you can work on it with an off-market deal that satisfies that need. Right. They need to sell for, they want to sell for 700,000, but they need to sell for 575,000 because that's what gets them their home. And when you show them that equation, therefore, you're now giving yourself that room that's needed. So just keep that in mind for those of you who are here. And when you go back and forth about a price with a seller, you're never going to win because, it's their house. They're going to find somebody that's willing to take this crazy number. They're going to get beat up on the market. So you're doing them a disservice, in my own personal opinion, when you are allowing them to continue with this belief. Now, obviously, we're here to make sure that they understand. But if you just shift it from, what they want to what they need on that new home, and you have some off-market opportunities lined up, which is why this is extremely valuable that we're here. But yeah, let's jump into some role play because I'm definitely here for that. I just wanted to emphasize the needs versus wants.
And speaking of role play, like I only do this call on Friday because that's the only day I really can set up and do role play. Javier is over on. Y'all remember Clubhouse from COVID times? Javier is over on Clubhouse like Monday through Thursday. Javier, put that information in the chat. That's where you guys can go practice your scripts when I'm not here. And then on Fridays, we're here. So
we're not, and we don't go on Fridays, by the way. So this is like a perfect pairing because
absolutely
we're only on Monday through Thursday. We send all of our guys here and all of our gals here on Fridays. So
yep. So let's put that information in the chat, man. Y'all need to be practicing 5 days a week. The difference between a millionaire real estate agent and just like a regular agent that's just getting by is that the millionaire real estate agent knows what's important and they stick to the basics, which is role playing, script practice, prospecting, follow up, going on appointments, etc. Haza.
Okay. I recently went on a listing appointment with another agent from our team. They wanted $1 million. I knew going in that I didn't do the pre-qualification. I let this other person do it, but I knew that this person wanted $1 million for his house. His house was worth about 400. We had sold in his town a $1 million house. So I knew it was going to be a waste of time, but I thought, well, for learning purposes, let's just go. And I sat with him. His wife was late for the appointment, so she wasn't home yet. So I had asked him, this is the house we sold for $1 million. And I had my laptop with me. So I was able to open up the photos and show it to him. I said, if your house was on the market for $1 million and this house was on the market for $1 million, which one would you buy? He actually told me he would buy his house. And that's when I knew, I'm like, okay, this guy is he's nuts. So as I said that, his wife walked in and I asked her the same question. I said, look at this house. I just sold it. I asked her the same question. And she said, I would buy this other house. And I said, tell me why. She goes, well, it's huge. It has this amazing kitchen. She started describing the house. I said, well, your husband said that he would buy this house, your house. And she said, well, he's absolutely crazy. So I'm like, okay, now I put it on them. I'm not calling him crazy. She's already figured out. So I said to him, I'm not going to take your listing for $1 million, but I'm actually going to encourage you to hire another agent and see if they would take it. And I said, please call another agent and have them come over here. And I said, when you do have a reality moment, I would love for you to call me at least. A realistic appointment. And he said, if I ever get to a point where reality hits, you left a huge impression on me. So I would call you. So yeah, was it a waste of time? Sure. We're nurturing him. We're sending him a bunch of stuff. And he may never come to, but it was a learn. Oh, sorry. I don't know where I went, but it was a learning experience. So I do encourage you guys, if you need the practice and you need to handle objections and you need to practice on that, it's okay to go because you're not going to take the listing anyways.
And so, Hayes, I'm hearing you and you're saying maybe it's a waste of time. I'm kind of thinking in my head, kind of like what Pete said, maybe, but maybe not. You know, if it were me, I would have said, hey, I know you're not ready right now, but you can see the value of having an agent like me. You even said you would call me when you're ready. So my question before I get out of here, I wouldn't be doing my job. And guys, this is a script I use every single time I talk to someone. You probably should write it down. Hayes, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, even though you're not ready right now, who do you know that I should be talking to about buying, selling, or investing in real estate that I could talk to?
Yeah.
We should be talking to those people who aren't ready to list with us and finding out who they know. Everybody you talk to, you're checking out at Stop and Shop. Hey, Angie, just a quick question for you. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a local realtor. Who do you know that I should be talking to right now about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? If they're looking, they'll tell you. If they're not, they may give you someone else's name.
I have to say something to you guys that Mina said the other day, and it was just brilliant. I thought we were interviewing, someone was actually interviewing us. Long story short, we have an intern working for us, and this lady came to see the environment that this intern is working. And I asked her where she lives and things like that. And Mina said, when, something like, when are you ready to sell your house? When will you be ready? Where's your, and she's like, actually, she's like, I'm not selling right now, but I'm in a position where, because of our relationship, I couldn't do business with you guys right now, because of this internship. And Mina said, I wouldn't be doing my job as a real estate agent if I didn't ask you if you were selling anytime soon. And we like, and the woman's like, all right, I get it, but like, yeah, anywhere we meet, anyone we talk to, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, who do you know, or when will you be ready? Where thought that was great.
And thank you, Hazel, for saying that. And I'm gonna say this before we get back into role play. You guys aren't doing your job, because I can pretty much guarantee you're not asking that question of everybody you come across every day. You don't understand how many people are buying real estate. They just don't talk about it, or have a desire to buy investment property. They just don't know where to go and who to talk to. Anybody you walk past should have a dollar sign above their head. That's how you should see them. You should be having those conversations no matter what. Denise, I see you shaking your head. Can you do me a favor and unmute and throw out an objection to anybody on this call, preferably somebody you don't know? It could be any objection. I don't care what it is. Throw out an objection that maybe you're afraid of getting, or one that you don't know how to handle, so you can see how other people handle it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't see who's on. So I'll just do Pete because I know Pete. Hey Pete, I don't want to be upside down in this home when I'm done, when I sell it. I want to come out making money, and that's why I think I should be listing it so high.
I actually think Pete had to bounce out of here.
Anybody can take it.
All right, so I want someone who hasn't spoken yet to take that. I'm looking at somebody in particular, 3 people that I know can probably handle that.
And I just had that yesterday.
Say it one more time, and then I'm going to go to.
So the objection was that the person doesn't want to come out of this. They want to list higher than the market recommends because they don't want to come out upside down because they need money to buy.
All right. Ms. Davidson, handle that for us.
So what I'm hearing is you need a certain amount in order to make your next purchase. What is that dollar amount that you need to make your next move?
Well, I need 450,000.
Okay, you need 450,000. And what number did you want to list for?
474.
474. Okay. And where are you taking your next step?
So the property that I'm buying, I have to totally renovate. And the property's 300,000, and I need to totally renovate it so that it can be the way I like it.
Okay. And are you staying in the state, or are you staying local?
I'm just moving up the neighborhood.
Okay. And so what time do you need this in order to make your next move?
Well, I'm buying the property from somebody, and they have a time frame that I have to meet because it's an estate.
Okay. And what is that time frame so I know how to plan accordingly?
Well, I have 30 days to get it under contract.
30 days to get under contract.
To get under contract.
Okay.
And then to be closed by the end of the year.
Okay. So have you heard of what we call a pricing pyramid?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to show you our pricing pyramid. Pretty much just shows you how we determine our list price. Because I don't know if anyone has explained to you, but the price you list at is different than the market value. So with that, I'm going to have my paper sidebar. So they say at market value, you only get about 60% of eyes on your property. And do you understand the importance of how many people see your home?
Absolutely. That's why I want you doing open houses every weekend until this gets sold.
Every weekend. Geez.
I didn't have my pyramid with me, and that's my own fault.
and listen, I'm sitting here going through my screen trying to find my pyramid, and I couldn't find it either. I'm sorry about that. But I love how you were educating her. The list price is not necessarily the sales price, and you were showing her, showing value and going through that conversation. Let me ask you this, Ashley. Were you looking at a script when you were having this conversation with her, or is this based off of what you know to say?
Well, this one I haven't really with the face too much, so I kind of have a script. I kind of not. I do have my scripts with my little sticky notes, and I've been writing notes from today. I did pull up my pricing pyramid. As I said, here it is. I was trying to find it on my computer, so I did pull it up during.
Well, I just want to say you sounded really good, and what I loved is that you were asking a lot of questions. Like too many times we just ask 2 or 3 questions. We really need to dig into it and understand what the seller is going through and be able to paint a picture. And I thought you did a really good job with that. And so it's really important that you go into question mode. You get them to answer. The person asking the questions is the one controlling that conversation. I want open houses every weekend. When people say that to me, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Only agents that don't know how to price property have open houses every weekend. I'm like Tony Pipes can. I list the property and reverse prospect. It's sold in the first week. I don't do open houses every weekend. I don't know if you guys know what reverse prospecting is. If you don't know, I promise you need to look it up and figure that one out.
Reverse prospecting.
It's the best. It's the best. And if you're
there's so many different forms of it too.
True. But here's the thing: most people don't know what it is. And so when you go in and you're trying to show your value and you want to stand out from the other agents, Tony, what do you say to people about reverse prospecting? I see you unmuted, so he's a king of it.
I always say the same thing. I always tell them, I said, listen, I reverse prospect the property because I'm going to sell your house to agents who may have more than one client. And I don't want to waste your time. I want to get the agents in here first. And that way, they're going to be able to bring the right people in and instead of bringing everybody in. But we got to sell it to the agents. And if anybody comes in here and you ask them, do you reverse prospect the property? And if they say, what is that? Show them the door right then.
I agree. And say that, show them the door. That is not the agent you want to be working with. So I want to say something before we get out of here because I have a call. Diego, I'll let you go as soon as I'm finished. I have a call at 9:35 I have to be on. But here's what I will say to you guys. If you do not know how to pre-qualify, you need to learn, because now you need to show your value. If you want to earn your commission, people want to know, why am I paying you that? You have to show up as a professional. You have to pre-qualify everyone, and you have to practice pre-qualifying so you know to do it correctly. You know all the right questions to ask. You know how to push and probe gently, but also you know how to just be part of the conversation. When someone's sharing great information with you, like I'm looking to get closer to my granddaughter, don't just say okay and go to your next question. Say, that's fantastic. I know that's going to be great. I miss my grandmother. We used to spend a lot of time together, and those are some of my best memories I have. Like, be a human. If you have a way to relate with them, relate with them. That's going to make them feel closer to you. That's going to make them feel heard. And that's going to make them feel like they have a rapport with you that they don't have with the other agents that are just showing up with commission breath and saying what they need to say. They're going to feel connected to you. And so if you guys need training on how to be a better listing agent, how to go through this pre-qualification, how to know how to do a listing presentation soup to nuts, where you can walk away and get that paperwork signed every single freaking time. I have my push program starting October 22nd. You already heard from Haza. She's been through my program. Her and her team are doing $30 million this year. Would it pose a problem for you if you were doing $30 million a year in business? I don't think so. It wouldn't pose a problem for me either. So I invite you guys to send me a message. I'd love to set up a call with you and talk to you about push and what it's all about. And just know this, I'm not here to force you into signing up for the program. I just want to give you the information you need so that you can make the best decision for you and your real estate career, especially with tax season coming up. You need to have some write-offs too. So keep that in mind. Diego, I'm gonna throw it to you and then we're gonna end the call.
Yeah, and not only Haza, but Mina as well went through your push program, and so did I.
Yeah.
Good, great program. No, I just wanted to mention something with the reverse prospecting. So I was actually reverse prospecting for my listing in Rutherford, and it's funny that an agent called me back, right? Because I left a voicemail and sent a text because she didn't answer, and she started flipping out on me because she thought that I had stolen her buyers.
Oh my goodness, she didn't even know what it was.
She had no idea what it was. So So yeah, I was like, wait a minute, you don't know what this is? Like how I get this information? Well, you need to come in, to one of the Keller Williams trainings. They don't teach you this where you are right now.
I hear you on that, Diego. Whether you're with Keller Williams or EXP, whatever it is, this is a great time to build your downline. When you're showing the agent something that they don't know that they should know, it's like, let me bring you over here and show you what type of training we do. This is why we have the success we have, is because we have training that shows us how to be a great listing agent. Let me invite them into a training, show them your world. We're also out there looking for buyers and sellers, but if you're with the right company, you should be looking to bring people in to build your downline, and it's a great time to do it. So good point, Diego. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Javier put his information in the chat. You guys know Tuesdays and Thursdays, morning mindset call, and Friday mornings, script practice. Next Friday, we're just going right into it, and we're playing objection hot potato. It's not going to be a lot of conversation. It's not going to be a lot of feedback. It's just going to be objections being thrown to each person back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I don't want to hear the same objection handler. I want you guys to switch it up every time that objection comes to you. So just get prepared. And everybody on this call is going to have an opportunity to role play. We're going to just throw them around, throw objection handlers around. So be ready for that. This is what you need. And the way you participate here is the way you participate when you're in front of an actual seller. And so we want to make sure that you guys have the skills you need in order to have success. Tony, I got to say again, man, you made my day being on here, dude. It's good to see your face. And y'all be good. Everybody on Instagram, y'all be good. Thank you for being here today. And I will see you guys next week.
Thanks, David.
See ya. Sorry for all the background noise. This bathroom was...
Got it. At least they're washing their hands.
I know. Oh, really quickly, Betty will kill me if I don't say this. I forgot to say it earlier. We have Speakeasy in Ridgewood on tomorrow morning. We're going to be there at 9:30 at the Keller Williams Ridgewood office. For those of you who know that you need to work on your public speaking skills and learning how to get comfortable being uncomfortable, come. Myself, Betty, Jolie, Lauren will be there. And we're going to have some fun. And we're also going to talk about some upcoming changes we have with Speakeasy. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow if you need that support. All right.
Hey, Dave, real quick.
What's up, man?
Ash doing his best impersonation of our